All hope you can all hear me well. I try my best there. My name's Jim Munford. I'm the president of the Friends of Fairview. And Dan, I have no clue if that's a relation or not.
I don't know. We'll find out.
But I thought I'd say that since you were there. Anyway, go on, cut that time out there. But anyway, welcome you all to our 12th Stories Behind the Stones. This year, I hope you pick up a little bit about the first 5 wars that happened and of the soldiers who are buried here. And we can't name all of them, but we've done some digging and found out some information. When I put my uniform on, and on a better day, it's on. A little warm. The wool gets a little warm.
Yes.
But my great-grandfather was Dr. S.E. Munford was a surgeon, the Indiana 17th. And even though he served there, he became regimental surgeon, the Army of the Cumberland, but he eventually got to go home. But all of my family are not from here. We're all from Gibson County. So I have no family here that I know of. You heard a little hint earlier that I was supposed to tie between that scene and this scene. S.E.'s son, Roderick, was my grandfather, and he was a member of the 159th. Served with that group. It was a huge area, the 159th, that covered almost all of southern Indiana. But he was a member. Now, any of you know Vic McGinnity? Vic McGinnity's grandfather and my grandfather served together. I've got that information. So that's kind of a neat little thing whenever I get the chance to torment Vic about that. The real reason here is not to hear about me. You're here to hear about the war that started. 1861. Civil War started. It started with 114 surgeons in the military. Within days, they lost 24. They went south. 3 more got kicked out for not being loyal. So that just means they probably went south too. They just had to be told. But that's to start the war. By the time the war was over, there were 11,000 soldiers who were doctors and surgeons during the Civil War, either served or were serving at the time. So that tells you the need they had. My great-grandfather was a college graduate. As soon as the war started, he said, "Let me go." He was 24 years old. So what a change, what a shock there was to go into that battle. Now, here's your quiz. One of your first quizzes. What's the major cause of death during the Civil War? Disease is what I count. What I usually read here is gunshot. Well, guess what it is. Disease, infection, amputation, something that's related. Now you gotta understand, we had no help for infection at all. But we didn't have any help for diseases either. Because some of these diseases haunted us for years. Now, here's a 58 caliber mini ball by my thumb. That's what did a lot of damage to our soldiers. And that's why there was a lot of loss of limbs. I think they used other than that, but there was a lot of that going on. And they had to, out in the field hospital, they had to stitch them up quickly. Maybe amputation saved their lives, but it didn't save their limbs. And then they had to hurry. The race was on to get back to a general hospital, which was away from the front, away from the battle. Now, who were the helpers to these surgeons? They were the nurses and the stewards. But how many women? None. They weren't. They were men. Until I got any nurses? I know. I got one. Then you know the name of Dorothea Dragon Lady Dix, who helped get the nurses into the Civil War and to form nursing schools. Now, she wasn't liked by anyone, I don't think. But this is what she made her nurses dress in. Drab, green. And if it weren't my wife and putting on her uniform, that's what she wears when she does this. It's a no color, no nothing. They couldn't talk to the surgeons, but what they did do, they made friends of the soldiers and helped them along, maybe where their mother wrote letters home. Just ease it a little bit. So I don't know how my grandfather felt. I've got lots of letters. I don't know that I've read anything that says how he felt for this. So that's just a, observation. Let's move these hospitals. They got out of the region. They got out of these little hospitals. They went to the regional hospitals. Then they had to find a way to a general hospital. For the northern folks, it was by boat. The Confederates controlled the railways. We controlled the rivers. They got as far as up here to the largest hospital in the western part. And that was Jefferson Hospital over in Jeffersonville. But it wasn't there until 1864. So what did we do before then? We came to New Albany. We had 11. We had, that we are Noah for sure. We had a couple of floating hospitals. I know if they keep talking about 2, then they have a third name. So I don't know how many of those things were out there and how many sank. I'm not going to say that because they weren't much of anything. So where does New Albany fit in? Like I said, there were hospitals here, but how did you equip these hospitals? They always needed gauze, bandages, help, fruit, anything in the world to help them out. But the whole area helped out, and the hospitals appreciated it, whether it came from Edinburgh, or came from Corydon, or came from New Albany. Of course, all the work they do, everything that what happened when the soldiers died? Where'd they go? How'd they take care of them? There were several companies before the war. Now, let me throw this in. Before the war, a pine box was what the main thing. Pine coffin, $2, $4 maybe. Steel casket, $100 maybe. And by 1849, 1850, a company called Scott and Brindley were the main suppliers, and then they later became the hospital, how should I say, chosen, had the contract, and they were the official ones. They did the undertaking. John Schrader, William L. Sanderson. Remember that name. You're going to hear him a couple of times tonight. Now, here's your second quiz. What's the difference between a casket and a coffin? Because I've been using them interchangeably. Main thing, besides being wood and being metal.
One of them is beveled on the sides
Very
and
good.
the edges, and the other one is a square.
Very good. I have no prizes.
I got a pat on the back.
Okay, great. The casket mainly is rectangular shaped. A coffin is 6-sided, like Dracula's. But wait a minute, we have a famous person right now that's being buried in a coffin. Queen Elizabeth. 30-year-old one made out of pine and lead. So there's your differences in that. But I didn't forget the dead. But let's talk about it. 1 year period of time, 227 came from the hospitals. Records, they came here. In just about 1 year. It's 18. They said 1863. So don't know how many ended up coming here. The war is over. 1865. We used May 26th as the date. There's lots of dates out there. You can go up to June 23rd, where a Cherokee chieftain finally surrendered out west. We can go to the fact that a Confederate warship was in England and finally turned over. That's how long it took to get there. They didn't have TV at that time. So they may not have known the war was over for months, but they surrendered. So when you sell your company or you lose your company, what do you do with your stuff? The hospitals were closing. It's time to close them up. It's time to tell the soldiers to go home. You're fixed. Well, you gotta have a yard sale then. You gotta sell all your stuff. You gotta sell your bedding. And one of the things they talk about here in this is public auction. So many, and this is just one of the sales. They had several. One of the sales was 56 towels, 1,200 pillowcases, 600 dressing gowns, unused, I think. 152 wooden buckets and 232, don't you wish you had one in your living room, a spittoon. So wonder where they went. I didn't forget about the dead. You know, I said something about the dead. What did we do with them? They had 3 places to go. Northern Burying Ground, Fairview, National Cemetery, which was owned by, at that time, 1863 early, or they were sent home. And some of these funeral directors, they ran the paper. They ran a sale for 25 bucks. We'll embalm them, put them in a pine box, and ship them home. Now, you understand that pine box costs about $2. So they were trying to make some money. No. So, of those soldiers that I mentioned a while ago, I don't know how many are here. We've got records, we've searched them, we've looked at them, we're not positive. The ones we know are here is Charles Sexton, who was a Medal of Honor winner. He's up on the hill up there. A man by the name of DeWitt Anthony Clinton, or Clinton Anthony. He's in the Cynic's Vault. I don't know what relation to the Cynics he's got, but that's where he's at. Benjamin Franklin Scribner's at the top of the hill here, of the Scribner family. Colonel William Lawrence Sanderson. I mentioned him a while ago. He's on top of the hill up there too. Key about him is he survived the Mexican War, survived the Civil War, but couldn't survive the perils of being New Albany mayor. He died while in office. First one to. And later on, another mayor from the Civil War died. So, Colonel Oliver Anderson, there's a flag you'll see when you go by on the left. That's where he's at. He's not far away. So, we even know about a few. In 1881, they talked about the Confederates that were buried here. The rebels, as they called it. I don't think we know where they're at. In a government printout, they're not sure where they're at. One of them I have traced pretty well, of the 5 or 6 they talk about. He's in the National Cemetery, and they just changed the letter around and buried him over there. I don't know because they were afraid he was a rebel or what, but he's over there. The other ones may be in a mass grave somewhere, either here or over there, with Union soldiers. Now, I'm going to close this with this little story. A man by the name of Harrison Tyler Gandy survived the war, came home, got married. Wife died almost 6 months, 9 months into their, I'm going to assume from childbirth maybe or whatever. Got married again right after that, but she lived a long time, up to 1920, something like that. And then she passed away. Then he married a 3rd time, 81 years old. Now catch this now, don't let this one go by you. His wife was 39. And according to a newspaper article, her husband just passed away. She was grieving, he just passed away. So, you know, they got married, they loved each other, I guess. I think she was after his money, or his pension. But, you know the husband I said that passed away? 3 days later, he published a letter in the newspaper saying, whoa, wait a minute, I'm alive. I'm not dead. And by the way, she was married 5 times. So, Andy divorced her. She got married again not long after that. Now, we're not done with him. He's 81 years old. At 84, he did something that probably family couldn't stop him from doing. He bought a car, learned how to drive, he thought. And I'm only going to assume something, because the wreck happened on State Street over the creek over here. I'm going to assume he came down the hill and got mistaken where the brake was at. Plowed into the banister of that old steel bridge there, but survived. Lived another 2 years, and then he passed away. But he was 84 years old when he learned how to drive. I don't know if I want to trust him. Well, mother-in-law drives still. So that's what I've got. I hope you picked something up. Any questions? I don't see him beating at my door, but I see a hand up. Yes, ma'am.
Ben Scribner, did he survive the war?
Yes.
I can't remember
Now, if it was dark, I've got his stone lit up real good, but he's up there. He survived. He wasn't one of the ones on my list of died.
Great job.
Thank you all.